Hello all. Please skip to 7 minutes and 20 seconds, roughly around there, if you just want to get on with the video, because I do ramble on a bit in the intro. I do apologise for that. Thank you. Hello there. My channel is called AI Gaming and Technology. It has nothing to do with artificial intelligence. AI is my initials. I want to focus generally on gaming and technology. I'm a big video game fan, do like technology as well. However, there are times where I will do videos which aren't related to gaming or technology. When I do one of these videos, I'll also upload a video about gaming. So in this case, I'm doing a video on Section 21 notices. If you're not interested in that, you can go watch my gaming video, which will be on F-Zero BS broadcast satellite for the Super Nintendo. Right, so let's go on with Section 21. Now, why am I doing a video about Section 21? I'm not a landlord. Something I want to point out is that people don't generally contact me unless they need my help. I'm a very well qualified person. I actually describe myself as rubbish at everything. I'm rubbish at everything, even though I'm quite well qualified. I'm pretty good at mathematics and computing. Other than that, I'm pretty useless at everything. That's the way I describe myself. The irony is at work, at my job, people do call me an AI because of my ability with my work. I'm a programmer, and they didn't even know my initials were AI, which is quite funny. But I don't have very many friends. A lot of my friends have moved away, especially when we, after school, after university and whatnot. So I only had a very, very small selection of friends. Unfortunately, two of my dearest friends passed away not that long ago, so I don't really chat to many people much nowadays. People only tend to contact me if they need my help, which is a bit disheartening because nobody ever phones up to say hello, how are you, that kind of thing. So again, I know I'm waffling on a bit, but I will come full circle on this. There's a person I know who is a landlord. They're having trouble with their tenant, and they needed to evict the tenant. Now, I don't know a great deal about tenancies. As I said, I'm not a landlord. I don't know much about the situation, but I am very good at paperwork. I'm considered quite dull and boring. I'm very good at methodical, meticulous, regimented work. I guess that's probably why I'm a programmer, because programming you have to be very, very accurate, and you can't make a mistake when you're programming, as in compiling the program. There can be lots of errors and bugs in the code, but to be a programmer you do have to be quite methodical, I would say. Now I'm getting older now, and I'm getting quite fed up of people asking me for help. So when this person asked me for help, I said no. I'm fed up. People just want to use me. I'm just tired. However, obviously I said to them, look, you're gonna have to do it on your own. I don't really want to get involved. And they did try to do it on their own, and they failed. Unfortunately, they went to court. They did the paperwork, but they didn't do it properly, and it failed. Now, this person contacted me again. And I said, look, when I get involved in something, I can be quite dedicated, obsessive to the point of obsession. My obsession is everything I do, I want to try and do it as well as I can, academically speaking or paperwork wise. Now, when I was young, I was quite a good student. I did my GCSEs at the age of 11. I did my A-levels at the age of 13. I have a first class honours degree from the University of London in computer science, graduated in the top 1% of the country. So I'm very well qualified and intelligent when it comes to paperwork and academic stuff. However, I do get fed up with people asking me for help, but this person was £20,000 in debt as a result of their tenant, and I was quite appalled when I heard that. I mean, £20,000, that is a ridiculous amount of money. I did feel sorry for them. and I thought, okay, look, I was told something quite a long time ago by my older brother, which was, I have a gift apparently. I don't think I do, but he says I have a gift and I should try to help people when I can. And I do try to, but it does get disheartening and tiring when you're just used over and over and over again. But I did feel very sorry for this person, so I said, okay, look, I will help you. You haven't got the money for a solicitor. You're not able to do this on your own. You did try, so I will now help you. So that is the reason why I'm talking about Section 21, because I helped this person out, and we were successful in getting the non-paying tenant removed. So I thought, okay, look, what I'll do, if I can make a few videos of the process, it might help other people, and if I can help even just one person, I think that would be good. So enough of the rambling intro. Let's get on with it. So what is a Section 21? It is currently still valid in the UK, which is where I am from and where I live. It is apparently going to be removed. Currently at this time, still valid. So, and I must say, going through the process, I feel sorry for the landlords, because it does not seem that the courts are in your favour. They really seem to favour the tenants, and if you make even one simple mistake, which might even be a remedial, just a very simple, trivial mistake, the courts will throw out all of your case and you have to start again and pay all the fees, which is very, very unfair and disheartening, I think, for the landlord. So I thought, okay, I'm not good, as I said earlier, I'm not good at I don't think I'm very good at most things, but there are a select few things that I do excel in. Me being methodical and accurate and very pedantic about procedure, I thought I would help this person, this acquaintance of mine, and also I thought once this whole process was done, I'll make a video and maybe possibly help other people. Now I do apologise about the rambling on. It's quite a long intro, so let's go on to Section 21, which is where you can use this document to evict your tenant and you don't need a reason, technically. Now, a Section 21, before you can issue a Section 21, obviously you have to do some. There are some procedures you have to follow before you can evict your tenant. Now, obviously, whoever's watching this, I imagine you're in a position of you have a property, you've rented it out, your tenant has now become undesirable, they're a nuisance, they're not, more than likely 90 or 95% of the time they just stop paying you, which I think is atrocious, because they can get away with breaking the law, but if you attempt to break the law as a landlord, you will have the proverbial book thrown at you. Very, very unfair. So what I'll suggest is, if you have a smartphone, before you take a tenant, if you have a smartphone, download a time-stamped photo and video application that will apply a date and a timestamps to your photos and videos, as this will act as evidence for you, and you will need this, or possibly may need this at a later date. Now, before your tenant moves in, use your smartphone, take time-stamped photos of your property, time-stamped videos of your property showing it is in good condition, because inevitably when your tenant does leave, either by you having to force them out through the courts, or they leave on their own accord, a lot of the time, and this happens, I'm surprised how much this happens, the property is left in a terrible state, with many fixtures and fittings broken, walls broken, doors broken, and that is in fact what happened to this acquaintance of mine. But so what I would say is, before they move in, document that your house is in good condition by taking videos and photos which are time-stamped. Now, when you take a new tenant, give them obviously a copy of the signed tenancy agreement. Also, you have to give them a valid copy of the Energy Performance Certificate, also known as the EPC. Now, to get one, you must use a qualified and accredited domestic energy assessor to issue you an EPC. Where also you have to give your tenant a valid copy of the gas safety certificate. To get one, you need to book an appointment with a gas safe registered engineer who will inspect your gas appliances, flues and pipework. An electrical safety certificate is another document you need to give your tenant. So to get one, you need to hire a qualified and competent electrician to perform an electrical installation condition report, EICR. Is what it is known as. Also, a how to rent guidebook. Right. Also, in addition to the how to rent booklet, if you take a deposit, you must then protect this deposit in an official deposit protection scheme, such as a website like depositprotection.com. When you protect the deposit, you should then give a copy of the deposit certificate or receipt to the tenant as proof of the deposit protection. Now, there's also something else you must do, and this is important. This is one of the things my associate did not do initially. Fortunately, they were still within the time limit to do, which is when you protect the deposit, you must then give the tenant a copy of what's called the prescribed information for the deposit protection within 30 days of protecting the deposit. Now, when my acquaintance protected the deposit, they did not issue the prescribed information. Fortunately, they had a couple of days left and I did it for them via email. Now, you may be thinking, what is this prescribed information? If you use a website like depositprotection.com, when you protect the deposit, you can download the prescribed information. This information contains the amount of the deposit, the address of the property, the name and address and contact details of the administrator of the tenancy deposit scheme with which the deposit is held, the name, address and contact details of the landlord and tenants and any third parties who have contributed to the deposit. Now, additionally, the landlord should provide your contact details, an inventory of the property, and if relevant, a copy of the property licenses if it is the HMO, for example, which is a house of multiple occupancy. So those are documents you have to provide. Let me summarise that for you. So to summarise, when you take a tenant, give them the following documents. Number 1, a signed tenancy agreement. Number 2, an EPC, also known as the Energy Performance Certificate. Number 3, an EICR, which is an Electrical Installation Condition Report. Number 4, a Gas Safety Certificate. Number 5, if you take a deposit, then provide the deposit certificate plus the prescribed information. Number 6, a how to rent booklet. I'm going to go through some of these documents now. So first I'll show you the AST, the tenancy agreement, a blank copy that was used. I'll show it on the screen and you can pause it and look through it and read through it if you need to. So here we go with that first. So here is page 1. I will go through this and you can pause the video, read it. If there's any parts of the contract you think are useful for yourself, you can take it or you can copy it in its entirety. If it helps you in any way, please use it. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Again, as mentioned, you can pause the video, read it, and as I said, you can copy it if you need to. Hopefully it might help you out. Page 4. Page 5. page 6, page 7, page 8, and finally page 9. So that is the tenancy agreement. Now I can't show you EPC, the EICR, EICR or gas safety certificate, because those are 3 documents that you'd have to get yourself. And also, if you protect the deposit, you'll be issued a deposit certificate. If you use depositprotection.com, then you can download the prescribed information. Here is, I'll show it on the screen now. So here is the prescribed information relating to tenancy deposits. You can simply go through this form, fill it out. It's very, very easy. You just put the names of the tenants here, the address here, deposit amount, your landlord details will go here, put the tenant details here, and if there are any third parties for deposits, you can put the information here. And then you'll just print your name, sign it and date it. So this is one of the documents you have to provide, a how to rent booklet. You can download it off the government website. It is quite large, but it is something you have to provide to them. And you must have done this in order to serve your Section 21. Okay, so now your tenant has moved in, you've given them all the required legal documents, and they've stopped paying you. So what do? Obviously you then do the Section 21. So how do we do the Section 21? It's a very simple document. So you fill out the Section 21 document that you can download off the government website. I'm going to go through that and show you a full example. Very, very small document, simple document to do. But a Section 21 notice, which is used to end a tenancy, can be served at any time after the first 4 months of the tenancy, provided the landlord gives at least 2 months notice. So, for example, my acquaintance issued the AST, the Assured Short Hold Tenancy, on the 13th of June 2024. Within a very short period of time, the tenant stopped paying. So a Section 21 was issued on the 14th of November with an eviction date of the 23rd of January 2025. So once again, the AST was issued on the 13th of June 2024. Section 21 was issued on the 14th of November 2024 with an eviction date of the 23rd of January 2025. Now you should give at least 2 months for the eviction. I decided to be a bit more cautious, so I gave a little bit over 2 months, 2 months and roughly 10 extra days, just to make sure that we were covered for any excuses the tenant might have. Oh, it was Christmas Day, oh, it was New Year's Day, you can't count on those days, and so on. So I allowed for a bit more extra time just to be on the safe side. Now, even though you've already issued all the relevant documents, if you haven't issued the relevant documents, now would be the time to do it so that you make sure you're covered. So when you give them the Section 21 notice, again, give them a copy of the tenancy agreement, the deposit certificate, the energy performance certificate, the electrical installation condition report, the gas safety certificate, and the how to rent booklet. I know that may seem redundant if you've already done it, but the tenant may go, oh, I never received those documents in the first place, and it could cause an issue. Some tenants can try every trick in the book to deny they've received anything. So when you if you hand deliver the Section 21 notice to your tenant, and with all the relevant paperwork, such as I just mentioned, the deposit certificate, EPC, and so on, take a time-stamped photo and video as proof. So video yourself putting all the documents into an envelope. On that envelope have the tenant's name and address, which is obviously the rented property. So video all the documents going into the envelope, again with a time-stamped application on your smartphone. Then you can hand the paperwork over to the tenant. What you should also do, this is a document you don't have to give the tenant, but we'll go through it, is do a certificate of service, as you'll need this for the court processes later down the line when the tenant does not leave after the eviction date, which unfortunately it is often the case that the tenant does not leave on the eviction date. Even though you have done all the paperwork correctly, it seems that the legal system does not favour the landlord at all. The tenant faces no immediate repercussion for breaking the law, not paying you rent, and staying illegally in your rented house. But if you are the landlord and you attempt to evict them by force or any other such means, you can face serious legal issues such as arrest, prison, fines. So although it seems very unfair for the landlord, please follow the procedures to make things easier for you in the long run. Do not attempt to physically throw them out or evict them by force. I know it may seem very tempting that they can get away with not paying you rent and breaking the law, and even though you've done all the paperwork legally, issued the Section 21 legally, and they still don't leave, please don't resort to doing illegal tactics yourself, because in the long run it will affect you. So as I said, we will go through the documents. We'll go through the Section 21 now. Okay, so if you go to the government website, you can download the form 6A, which is the Section 21. I'm going to give you a full example now. Very, very simple form to fill out. It's only a couple of pages. Here is page 1, and all you have to do, very simple, put the tenant's name. I'm going to obviously make this information up. Tenant's name I've just put as Ken Masters. The date they're required to leave, which is here, 23rd January 2025. Then you put the property address, which is here. Again, I've made it up just so you have a full example. That's page 1. Page 2, you just have to sign it, put the landlord name here, and the landlord address here, and the landlord phone number. Again, all made up information, but just to give you a full example of a Section 21. If there is a second landlord, you can put their details here if required. Then tick the landlord section here and put the date that the Section 21 was issued. Right, so now that you've filled out the Section 21, you now have to go through the process of handing over to the tenant. As I mentioned before, use your smartphone with a time-stamped application for photos and videos. Video yourself with all the required documents. Section 21 notice. So have your phone in your hand and video the Section 21 notice. Then the tenancy agreement. Then video the deposit certificate. Then the energy performance certificate. Then the electrical installation condition report, then the gas safety certificate, and then a how to rent booklet. It's on the screen now as a very simple list. So once you filmed yourself with all those documents in your hand, put them in an envelope, film yourself putting them in an envelope. Make sure you film the front of the envelope so it has the tenant's name and tenant's address. So again, with your phone recording with the timestamped information, seal the envelope and then walk over to your property. Obviously knock the door, wait for the tenant to answer, hand them the document, tell them that you are evicting them, here is all the paperwork, and leave. Do not cause any issues. Just say these are the documents that I'm required to give you for your Section 21 notice, and then walk away. Do not cause any arguments or issues or conduct yourself in any illegal way, because we don't want it to affect you further down the line. Okay, so now you've gone through the process, you've initially taken your tenant, handed them all the required documents at the time they've moved in. They've then stopped paying you, causing you any number of issues. You've now issued your Section 21 notice. You've again handed them a copy of all the paperwork. So you've given them the Section 21 notice plus all the paperwork that you gave them when they moved in case they claim they never received it in the first place. So you've got that all recorded. Now there is one more thing you have to do, which is crucial and important. A few people do tend to miss this. This is a document called the N215, which is a certificate of service. You do not have to give this to the tenant, but when you hand them the envelope containing the Section 21 notice and all the relevant documents such as the EPC, the EICR, the gas safety certificate and so on, once you've handed them that envelope with all the documents, you then have to fill out this certificate of service document. Very simple. You can see it on the screen now. Here is a fully completed example. As you can see, I'll go through with you. On what date did you serve the document? On what date did you serve? 14th of 11th 2024. Date of services 14th 11th 2024. Name of the claimant, which is the landlord Chung Lee. The defendant Ken Masters. What document did you serve? Section 21. On whom did you serve? Ken Masters, which is the tenant. I'm going to again. These names are made up. So I'm going to scroll down. Right, so then you put the address of the rented property here, and it was handed to the tenant at 1 PM. So I've wrote down 1 PM and ticked here. Here you would tick the defendant, and this is their usual residence. Scroll down. Again, very simple form, but I just thought I'll show you a completed example so that there's no ambiguity. And then I would put the full name of the landlord, Chung Lee, signature, and the date. I'll also cross out the options which are not relevant. So in this case, only leave claimant here because you are the claimant, you are the landlord, and the date which it was issued, which would usually be, I'd recommend you fill out the N215, the certificate of service form, on the day you issue the Section 21, so the dates are consistent. That's page 1, and it's a 2-page document. That's page 1, and here is page 2. So just keep this document for yourself because you will need this further down the line. So what I'm going to do now is that is everything. It's been quite a long-winded video, but hopefully this will help you out. Now, what do you do when you've done all the paperwork correctly, you've taken the tenant properly with all the relevant documents, then when you've given them the Section 21, you've also given them all the relevant documents to evict them. Probably not even 9 out of 10 times, probably not even 99 out of 100 times, probably 999 out of 1,000 times the tenant will not leave. So you then have to do further paperwork, which I will go through. It's called the N5B form, which has become quite complex. The previous one was quite simple. The more modern one is quite involved. So I'm going to do a video on that next, which is the N5B form. Hopefully this Section 21 video, although long-winded and not the most professionally produced, because I'm not very good at video editing or audio editing. I hope it has given some people some help. Thank you all, and take care.